Gold chain buying guide. Hi everybody, it's Melissa, and I still get this question a lot. I made this video literally about a year or two ago, and I'll still get a lot of people asking similar things, so hopefully this helps out all the new people. All right, so the first couple things I'm going to say off the bat when you're buying your very first gold chain is to get a solid gold chain. If it says hollow, don't even look at it. And again, just so you know, these tips that I'm giving you are, you don't have to follow them, but I really feel like these are going to help you in the long run. And there are some tips here that I wish I knew before I, started getting gold pieces. So the first thing, get solid. Don't look at hollow. I know you might think, oh, but I can get a bigger chain for a smaller price. For me, when I tried wearing something hollow, I went to this pawn shop. I didn't even want to throw it on, but the associate was like, come on, just try to wear it, see how you feel about it. The second he put it into my hand, it just felt so cheap and it had a weird jingle to it. When I did throw it on, it felt like kind of costume jewelry. It felt like it can break really easily, which is really true about hollow pieces. So if you're thinking, well, typically buying a 4mm rope chain is definitely going to cost me over $1,000 in 14 karat. I can literally just buy it here for $800, but it's hollow. That thing, when it breaks in, I don't know, it could be a couple months, it could be a couple years, you're gonna go, damn, I spent $800 on this and it broke on me. And the thing with rope chains is typically you can't really repair them, but that's gonna be at $800 down the drain versus you taking that $800 and saving it for a piece you actually want that's gonna be a solid piece. Which takes me to my next point. Gram weight is so important. Before you purchase any gold, you need to know what purity you're going to look into, whether it's 10, 14, 18, 22, 24 karat. Look at what the gold price is that day in your country. And then when you're going shopping online or going shopping in person, you can kind of see, looking at these prices, okay, this is the markup that this brand or this company is putting on this chain. I will say a lot of the places in person that aren't Asian jewelry stores, like a lot of like the fancy ones, like where the associates are really dressed up, they're selling a high premium. I've seen 14 karat gold selling for $90 per gram. And just like a heads up, I haven't looked at it as of recently, but from what I know, it was staying around that $35 per gram range for a while. I think it's still there. Maybe it's $36 or $37 per gram now, right? But if you take something that's $37 per gram, and then there's a business that's charging you $100 per gram, that's insane. I'm not sitting here telling you guys that you're gonna buy something that the brand is gonna sell it for $35. Of course, that's ridiculous. They have to pay for their rent. They have to make sure that they're making money off the chain and they're not losing money. So getting a reasonable markup, really important. I'm not gonna trip if I see something that's pushing for $60 per gram for 14 karat gold that's brand new. That's not a shocker to me. But if I'm seeing something that's pushing 90, if I'm seeing something even like 75 that's not handmade, I'm gonna, even 7, that's a lot. It's a lot. So just be very comfortable knowing the gram weight of things, and also asking questions and negotiating for people in person as well. Because once they kind of get an idea that, okay, this person knows gold, they're asking about gold weight. If you bring in a mini scale, bonus points to you, because a lot of people are not going to do that because they just go off the hang tag of these chains. So there are times that, like, I went somewhere, this lady's like, oh yeah, this is $20. Not $20. This is 20 grams. This chain is 20 grams. You put that thing on a scale, it's like 16.8 grams. And they're like, oh, I guess it must be 16.8. They don't go off the hang tag and their papers. Literally, if you have a scale, bring that scale, weigh it out for yourself. Very, very, very important. So what we got so far, gram weight, knowing your gram weight is super important. And the price per gram, and buying a solid chain instead of a hollow chain every single day of the week. Now, there are some that are semi-hollow or semi-solid, like those moon cut designs, which is basically, those beaded chains. There's a wire that runs through them, which is why by nature they can't really be solid. So for those pieces, I notice a lot of people get them not as first purchases, but for something later on when they're just looking to spice up their collection and they want just maybe a nighttime piece and just something a little bit different, right? But again, for your very first piece, get something that you can daily wear 24/7 and not worry about it turning your neck green, not worrying about it like when you're showering, pools, beaches, jacuzzis. On my channel, I've literally made a lot of videos about like update videos on, okay, I've worn these pieces like when I'm sleeping, showering, pools, beaches, jacuzzis, when I'm hiking, when it's been really hot outside, when it's been cold outside. Being able to use these pieces daily and as heavy use are going to be very important because you're looking at something that could be worn, that will be worn for a lifetime and can be passed down to your kids and your grandkids if you desire to have any. All right, so that's important. The next thing, like the most fun thing, is looking at what chain design that you want after you decide what purity of gold you want. And let me just quickly talk about purity real quick. Get the gold purity that is based, that looks best on your skin tone and what's in your budget. Okay, there's a lot of talk, especially if you're in the United States. People are going to say, jewelers will say, oh, you shouldn't wear anything over 14. You shouldn't wear anything over 18. Like 22 karat, it's going to break on you. It's so soft. And I think people have taken the word soft and they don't fully understand what that means. So soft has turned into, oh, it's easily breakable, when that's truly not the case. The setup that you see me wearing is a 22 karat solid gold Miami Cuban link, a 24 karat St. Christopher medallion. This one here is a 22 karat Hermes link, solid gold, or heavy link, as it's known as in other places, right? So they're not just going to break on you. Of course, if you have a 1 millimeter chain, regardless of the purity, if somebody swipes at it, the likelihood that it could break is going to be higher than something that's 4 millimeters or 5 millimeters, right? So the more gold, the stronger it will be. I like whenever people ask about that and they tell me about their puny chain that broke, and they're like, that's why I'm never going to wear 18 karat because it's so soft. It breaks so easily. 14 karat's the best. And they tell me it's 1 millimeter. I'm like, y'all, that's, come on, you know? So don't think that these things are just going to fall off your neck. Like, again, I've worn my high purity pieces the same exact way I've worn my 14 karat and they've held up the same. The only difference I would say is if you're someone that is very picky and very particular about scratches, like you're going to look at your chain every night like this to see if there's a scratch, then stop at 18 karat. You're chilling with 18 karat. With 22 karat, it is more likely to scratch. In the higher purities, they can scratch more. And again, we're talking just mainly chains here. But it's not like literally gonna fall off your neck. Okay, I've talked about pros and cons with low purity and pros and cons with high purity that you could check out on my channel. So buying what's in your budget, buying the purity that suits your skin tone the best, that's the way to go about it, instead of, oh, this is gonna be more durable, but you know you want a 22 karat. Like, get the 22 karat. I promise you, they're durable. They're even the 24 karat, it's durable. All right. So the next thing I would say is, this might sound hypocritical because you know how I said buy what's in your budget when it comes to gold purity, but when it really comes to getting your very first chain, don't just buy what you can buy because that's what you got right now in your bank account, or you just got paid, so now you're gonna blow it all on this one thing. But what you really want is a Cuban link, right? So that's what happened with me. And I have no regrets with this, but I know a lot of people will get buyer's remorse with big purchases like this. So when I first started getting into solid gold, because I was wearing a Vermeil Cuban link, I wanted a solid gold Cuban link. But solid gold Cuban links are definitely pricey. Even the micro ones, in comparison to other chain designs, the Cubans require more gold, so the price tag is, of course, going to be higher. So what I ended up doing was I got a 3 millimeter rope chain. And I actually still love this 3 millimeter rope chain. I just a side note on the rope chains, they snag on your hair, okay? Like they look great. They're the type of designs that look bigger than they actually are. But if you have long hair, or even if you don't have long hair, it'll still catch on the hair on the back of your neck. If you have a beard, if you have chest hair, the pain can be preventable by getting a different sort of chain. That's what I'm gonna say. But I ended up getting this one, super happy about it, super thrilled about it. And just kind of as time went on, I still was thinking about the Cuban link, right? So instead of me just straight up buying a Cuban link, I decided to go for the rope chain. But the reason I say there's no regrets is because this is before I was very familiar with different purities. When I thought of solid gold, the videos I was seeing, 14 karat was the norm, so I didn't even look at other purities. As time has gone on, I'm glad that I started with this one, because if I got a 14 karat Miami Cuban link, it would not be really getting as much wear, and it would have been a bigger price tag than this piece right here. So really being sure of what you want purity wise and chain design wise, and then saving up for the piece you want so that you don't have that buyer's remorse of, okay, I just bought this one, but oh, it's still in the back of my mind. Maybe I'll just get another chain to satiate that feeling, you know, and then it's still always going to be in the back of your mind. All right. So now we're going to get into the fun stuff of different designs. So these two that I have right here, rope chain, 14 karat, Franco, 22 karat. This is 1.7 millimeters, so it's a tiny Franco. But what the internet says, and I could agree with this, they say that round style designs like this are the best for pendants. If you're gonna throw a pendant on here, let me just grab a random one. All right, let me just grab this crucifix. When you throw a pendant on a round design, it doesn't catch on any of the links. Look how seamless this looks, right? It's easy. Nothing looks bad here at all. So that's what people say is, if you're gonna have a pendant, you gotta have it on the rounder ones. But where I disagree is when they start hating on the flat link designs with pendants. For example, I have a Figaro design here. Again, this is a classic chain style. It'll never be out of style. This will always be a relevant design, and it's a lot of people's very first gold chain, because it's more affordable, because it's less, like, little bit of gold goes a long way in these chains is what I'm trying to say. I'll get into that in a bit. But look at this, right? You have this beautiful Figaro, and then you have this little pamp on here. And what the internet will tell you is, oh, it doesn't look good because it can catch easier, or it gets stuck on the links and it folds and it doesn't look nice. In all my years of not even being into jewelry, but like seeing people wear gold chains, never have I looked at someone's piece and went, the fold there is crazy. That crease looks ridiculous. Or I've never even heard anybody say that to somebody else, right? That's an internet opinion. In fact, I grew up around a lot of the Mexican community. So like the Figaro chains with Guadalupe pendants, or the Figaro chains with crucifix necklaces, like, or crucifix pendants, very popular, and they look so good because the shine factor of the flat links, they just go crazy. They pick up the sun reflections really, really nicely, which is why I would recommend for your first chain. You want something more affordable, you want something the gold goes a long way, where you can get a thicker piece or like a bigger millimeter piece, then go for something like the Figaro, go for something like the Mariner chain, and don't be afraid to put your pendants on them. If anybody hates on it, I guarantee you it's just going to be on the internet. But do you know those people? No, you don't. Like, it's got to be a sad life if you're hating on somebody's chains in a YouTube comment section. Like, don't you have other, you know what I mean? Like, what? Don't let those people dictate what you should or shouldn't wear. So, again, the more affordable options, these flat links, but just because they're more affordable doesn't mean they're looked down on, because these are beautiful in person. And again, if you are about the shine factor, this is such a no-brainer to get something like the Figaro, get something like the Mariner, or get something like the flat curb, which basically, if you look at those, you know, those 3 circles you see right there that's separated by the oval elongated link, that's what the flat curb looks like. It's just these 3 circles all the way around. And of course, the bigger the millimeter, the bigger the circles will be. People want to hate on the flat curb, and they say that it's a rip-off version of the Miami Cuban link. Again, it's an internet opinion, which the validity to that is dependent on the person wearing it. For me, I love the Miami Cuban link better, but am I gonna shit on somebody wearing a flat curb? Never, because you enjoy your pieces the way you want to enjoy them. But I do like how tight the links are here. Let me kind of show you more up close of what this piece sort of looks like. And I would say the rope chain, by far the most popular that I see on women, on men. Everybody just, it's like at least here in the West Coast, you like people are rocking the hell out of the ropes all the time. So that's the Cuban link right there. Nice daily piece. The weight to it is really good. The links are tight. And what's interesting is this. I'm going to show you guys 4 chains that are pretty popular, right? Just kind of give you a little bit of a backstory of opinions on the internet that I've gotten from people, and then also like in person. Okay, so here we go. I'm showing 4 chains right here. The Figaro that I talked about, very classic. The most popular one that I see, the rope chain. The rope chain. The most popular that I've seen as a very first chain for a lot of people is the Figaro chain, right? So this one's interesting right here. This is the Franco chain. The Franco chain has a lot of fanboys with it. I understand. It's durable. They're like, oh, it looks sleek. The only people that have really liked the Franco, just from my experience, have been guys that have told me that, like, whenever I would do videos like this, like, oh, the Franco's better than all that other garbage, blah, 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 blah. I think the Franco design's kind of boring. I can't lie. Again, everyone's opinion is going to be different, all right? But it's so interesting because whenever I'd be talking about the Franco, whenever I'd be talking about the Cuban link, like with my TikTok audience, the ladies love the Cuban link. They're like, it's the sexiest gold chain out there. It's like this thing is invisible, but it's like the guys love this. So if you're a guy and you're looking for that kind of sleek, I wouldn't even call it underrated, to be honest, because people yap about it so much that it's like, how could it be underrated if you're always just talking about it, right? So this chain, it's really good for pendants, really good. It's nice without the pendants, but I just think the look of it does bore me. Even though I know a lot of my male, don't be offended if you hear me say that. I know a lot of my male followers love to rock the Franco. I know this is a smaller millimeter one too. It looks good in 2.5 millimeters, I think. But then other than that, sometimes it could just look like, it just looks like I won't get into it. But the bigger they look, kind of, it's like, to me. But the Cuban links, a very common, reoccurring comment I would receive about it from women is that they're like, it's so sexy when it's tucked in and you see it from the side neck and it just looks so sleek and it just hugs your neck and the links are tight. They're like, it's so attractive. So that's the most kind of compliments I've gotten with my Cuban link is like a lot of girls, when they see it on me, they like to kind of run their fingers on it, or when I have it tucked in to like my shirt or something, they'll kind of just like pull it out like that and they'll play with it and stuff. But they like the Cuban link, just chef's kiss. And like, at the same time, I it's also my personal favorite. So again, you guys, like, most people, they're going to be able to, what I love about gold chains that's different than fragrances, you can look at it, you can already tell what you're going to like. Okay, like you could look at these 4 right here and go, screw these 3, the rope is where it's at. Or screw these, the Franco is the best. Screw these, I like this one the best. So it's all about you and kind of, you know, put your personality in there a little bit. If you like the Figaros and you want to throw on a really nice pendant, it's going to look clean. I think pendants are a great way to accessorize your piece, to just give it a little bit more oomph. Now, the last thing I'm going to say when it comes to getting a pendant, I like pendants better on chains that are less than 3 millimeters on me. Okay, on me. If you are a bigger build than me, then a 4 millimeter chain with a pendant is probably going to look like a 2 millimeter on you, right? So it really is about, like, your body type plays a huge role into these things. So for me, I'm about 5'5", 120. So the 3 millimeter chains and less with pendants just look better. I think if I were to wear a pendant on a piece bigger than this, y'all are going to go, what the heck? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? It's just, I won't be able to pull it off as well as you guys would, you know? So that's just that. But I think pendants look really nice, especially, let's say you're not so sure of what exactly you want, but you know you want a gold chain and you kind of want to see what the vibe would be. Just getting thin chains, like this is probably a 1.5, maybe 1 millimeter rope chain right here. And then just putting little pendants or little charms on them, and then you can kind of layer it and stack them really clean. And it does look pretty classy. Like the thin chains are great because of, people will say, they're like, oh yeah, it's a classy sort of look. And I understand that. Like with my Cuban links, I could wear that if I'm really dressed up, it's going to look good. If I'm dressed down, it's going to look good. With this, I can wear it a bit more dressed up, but sometimes it's a little bit too thick, right? So I like being able to wear pieces that no matter what the outfit is, it'll still look nice, and the sizing of it will still look nice. And I think a lot of that had to do with when I first started watching, like when I saw The Sopranos for the first time. I just like that Tony Soprano wore his chain with everything, and I'm like, I like that, because it becomes a part of you, right? So that's what I would recommend you guys getting your very first pieces. This is going to be something that will be a part of you, that you can literally leave around your neck 24/7. All the pictures that are going to be taken, all the videos that are going to be taken of you in this moment for all those years that you're going to be wearing it, when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, like that was my signature chain. And like when your kids see pictures of you and videos of you, and the next thing you know, if you gift it to them, it just like continues like a beautiful, it just makes things very sentimental and just makes for really great memorabilia. And you know, gold is going to keep going up. This is the last thing I'm going to close on, is people are saying that because gold is at an all-time high right now, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to wait for it to completely come down. That's the equivalent of timing the market, right? And for all of you guys that are into stocks and all of that, you know that it's not about just timing the market perfectly. It's about getting into it, right? And then being consistent with it. If you see some drops, then, you know, you invest some more and then let it pick up. But if you look at the stock market over time, it's always gone up. Even if there's like little things that happen like that, it continues to go at an incline. And the same could be said about gold as well. So yes, it's at a high, and it might come down for a little bit, but don't assume it's going to drop to a price that it did like 20 years ago and it's going to stay there for you guys to wait to pick up your pieces. Because what's going to happen if you're really trying to time it too much is it's just going to keep going up and up, and you're going to go, holy shit, I should have got it when I first wanted it. So just buying, of course, when it's in your budget is super important, but not waiting too long because you think that, oh yeah, it's just going to completely drop like that. That's just an unrealistic way to look at it, is being overly conservative with it. So just find that good balance in the middle. And in the comment section below, guys, let me know what chains you wear, what your daily piece is, especially for all the people watching this video, buying for the very first time. Share your experiences with the designs you have, with the pieces you have, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, the quality of them, where you got them from, everything. Like for me, when I was first starting, I wished I could have read more stories or watched more videos of reviews, but there weren't really as many when I first like started doing this. So which is why I do my best to make as many videos as I can to help out people like me in the beginning. All right, anyways, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Take care. Bye.